Hello everyone, so now we will do this one, configure and verify NAT PAT. Okay, so we will do this one. Let me open the notes. NAT PAT, network address translation, port address translation. So if we see NAT PAT, what is the use of this one? Example, in our real scenario, we are dealing with the IP address. We are getting the IP address. Your mobile phone, your laptop, your desktop, we are getting the IP. All IP whatever we are having in our laptop, in our desktop, that is having the public or private. We have the private. If you see example, you have this router in your home, ISP, maybe you have SIM card or fiber cable, anything here connected to your router. After that you have maybe antenna, Wi-Fi antenna in your home, and you are getting all your devices is getting the IP. All devices, laptop, mobile phone is getting IP. All that one is a private. All that one will be private, and here we will have the public. So if we want to access anything in the internet, we need to have the public IP. With the private IP we cannot access. We need to have the public IP. So how we can access? If we want to do that one, we will use the NAT, network address translation is used to access that one. So first of all, let me show you example what I will do. If I go here in the internet, I will write here what is my IP address. What is my IP address? If you see here what I am getting, this is my public IP. This is my public IP. Your public IP is this one. But if I go in my laptop, if I check here in the CMD, I can check here CMD, I can write IP config. If I write IP, if config IP, right, IP config. If I, let me make big. Here what I will get, this is a Ethernet adapter VM8, this is VM1, so this is not the one which I am looking. This one, this is my Wi-Fi adapter. So this is my IP address 2.144. So what I want to say here, let me put in the notepad. This is my laptop IP. Okay, laptop IP is this one, and my public IP is what Google is showing. My public IP is this one. This is my public IP. Both are different. How I am able to communicate? As per our theory, what we are saying, if I want to access, example, if I want to access, if my device is one, this is my device PC1, if this device want to access Facebook, google.com, anything, he need to have the public IP. Without public IP he cannot access. So what we have here, we are having the router here, and this router is having maybe SIM card, or maybe you have the fiber cable from the ISP, and here you will have the public IP from the ISP side. You have the public IP. What is the public IP? This public IP. In my scenario, in my case, I have 37.42.167.178. This is my public IP. But my laptop is having this IP. This is the private IP. This is a public IP. Even if I am having the private IP, I am able to access the internet. Just now we check google.com. Just now we check how we check this one. What is my this one? Why it is working? Because we are able to access the internet, then only we open the Google. So Google is working, right? Google is working and the internet is working. I am using my public IP or private IP. In my computer I am using the private. This is private, this is public. So my private IP is also able to access the public. But first time when we are learning, we are told when we are discussing the IP address in the CCNA level, we told only the public IP. We need only public IP to access the internet. As per our theory, as whatever we discussed from long time, we are saying public IP we need so we can access the internet. With the private we cannot. But now here if we see, with the private also we can access. How we are accessing? Because of NAT. NAT is helping us to access that one. So if you see here, first of all, NAT stands for network address translation. What is the role of the NAT? It translates the private IP address into public IP address or vice versa. He can do private to public, public to private. In order to communicate with the internet, we should have the public IP. We should have the public IP. So one host need one public IP. That means if you have 15 devices in your office or in your home, you need to buy the 15 public IP address from the ISP. That is very expensive. Okay. To overcome these types of issue, we use the NAT. Because of NAT, we are going to have we are taking private IP. We can translate that private IP into public IP with the help of NAT. So in your own words, you can define NAT is nothing but network address translation. It is used to translate the private IP into public IP or public IP into private IP. If we don't have the NAT, then we need to buy separate IP for separate devices. So what we will have the issue, we need to pay more for the ISP. For one public IP, you need to pay, example, you are paying $100 for one public IP. If you want to buy 10 public IP, then you need to pay 10 times 100. So that will be expensive. To overcome these types of issue, we use the NAT. So what NAT will do, he will translate the public IP into private IP. If you see this scenario here, what we are doing, imagine this is the internet. Okay, this is the internet and this is your router, home router, office router, SOHO. So in this scenario, we have this is our outside network. This is our outside network. Here we have Google server, internet, and here this is our private network. So whatever private IP we are using, when we are trying to access the internet, it is going to translate into public and we can access the internet, and then again whatever data is coming, it will come to our private IP. So router is going to translate from private to public, public to private. So we can look that one when we do lab, we will have the idea. Now just remember, network address translation was originally developed to solve two problems. One is shortage of the IPv4 and another is hide the network address. Example, if you want to hide, example, if you buy one public IP, you assign that public IP directly to the server. So anyone can access directly. But what we can do, we can put the public IP and we can do one-to-one NAT from here. So this is a private IP, but when the guys are pinging, it will show or when the guys are accessing the server, it will show them one public IP, but your router is going to translate that public IP into private IP. So if anyone is going to try to attack on the server, it will stop here only, because after that this IP will change, because this is a private here, but here it is a public. So if attacker cannot attack also that one. So we can use in the bank server, they are using that one. They are assigning the private here and they are doing the NAT, static NAT, to save that IP also. So we will look that one. So now we need to remember, shortage of IPv4 is solved from the NAT and we can hide the network segment, network schema. And we have different types of NAT. We have static NAT, we have dynamic NAT, we have the PAT. PAT is nothing but port address translation. This is the one which we are using in our home routers and in the most of the place, airport, coffee shop, in office also, Wi-Fi, we are using this one. Most of the thing. If you want to advertise particular server, we are using this one. In some scenario, we are using this one. Mostly we are using this one. Example, if your staff want to access the internet, we will configure this one. If you want to advertise your server on the internet, we will use this one. So let's see, one-to-one. That is the static NAT. Static NAT is nothing but one-to-one, bidirectional. Static NAT is a bidirectional. Bidirectional means, example, this guy is able to access the internet, and someone from internet, they can also access this server. That is known as bidirectional. Means traffic will go from here to here, and if anyone from outside also they want to access, they can access this one. That is known as bidirectional. So we need to remember static NAT. First of all, static NAT is nothing but one-to-one. You need to buy public IP. How many server you want to advertise on the internet, how many server you want to assign. Example, if I want to do 3 server, so I need to buy 3 IP address, 3 public IP address. So what I can say, this type of NAT designed to allow one-to-one mapping, local to global. This one is a local. Inside we can say local, outside we can say global. So what I am saying here, we can say here one-to-one, if you have 100 server, you need to buy 100 IP if you want to do the static NATing. Okay, and here static NAT translate is bi-direction, whether the internet host or the external host, internal or external host send first packet, it would pass through the static NAT. In simple, anyone from outside also can access the resources, and anyone from inside they can access the resources outside. That is by using the static NAT. Static NAT also allow the connection from outside host to inside. Means if you have server here and anyone from the outside, imagine this is a bank. Okay, any bank, you have the bank net banking. If you want to access, you can access, right? This one. Not only, generally in the organization what we are doing, if our guy is sitting here, he want to access google.com, he can access, but Google cannot access this guy. If someone from Google, if they want to access, they cannot access, because we are using PAT, port address translation, or dynamic NAT, so they cannot access. But if we use static NAT, they can access also. So in the companies where we are using the servers, like in the bank or anywhere where we want to allow the guys to access from outside, then we need to do the static NAT. And what we can say, static NAT allow connection from outside host to inside host, means from here to here they can access. And then we have the dynamic NAT. Dynamic NAT means here we will have pools of IP. Example, you have 3 devices. Imagine you have 3 devices, and imagine we have 2 IP. We taken 2 public IP from the ISP. So you have 3 computer, 2 public IP. So whatever computer is trying to access internet, example, this guy want to access internet, so he will take the first IP and he will go outside, and this machine will take the second IP, he will go outside. Now we don't have any IP, so this machine cannot access the internet. He need to wait till this one or this one stop accessing. When this guy stop accessing, this guy can start accessing that one. That one is known as dynamic NAT. Means you will have pools of IP available. Whoever is free, you can take that one. Okay, so that one is known as dynamic NAT. What we can say, dynamic NAT sometimes refer as a one-to-many. Dynamic NAT is used when we have the pool of public IP address that you want to assign to your internal host dynamically. Dynamically means whatever is available they can use. Example, you have 2 cars in your home. Imagine in your home you have 2 cars, but you have 3, maybe you have 3 brothers. You are 3 brothers, you have 2 cars. So if your first brother take 1 car, second brother take 1 car, you need to wait till they come back. When they come back, you can take and you can go out. Same thing here, we will have the pool of public IP. Whoever is not accessing, you can access that one. That we can say dynamic NAT is used when we have the pool of public IP address. So you can you want to assign to your internal host dynamically. We can use dynamically. And after that we have PAT. PAT is nothing but port address translation. This is another type of dynamic NAT which can map multiple private IP into single public IP. Here what we are doing, first thing, static IP, how many server you want to access the internet, that many public IP you need to buy. Second one, dynamic means you can buy 2 or 3, and whatever is freely available they can access in dynamic NAT. In the PAT, port address translation, here no need to worry. Even if you have 1 IP, all the guys can access by using 1 IP same time. It is not necessary you need to wait 1 guy and do another guy, not like that. All the guys can access the same time. So what we can say, PAT is another type of dynamic NAT which can map multiple private IP to a single public IP by using the technology known as port address translation. When any PC or client from the inside network communicate to the host to the internet, the router change the source port number with the another port number. If you see this diagram, here this is the machine. Imagine this is a computer. When you are trying to access any HTTP or HTTPS, any service, when you want to go outside the your network, then our machine, our computer will generate one random port. He will connect that random port to our IP. Example, they are generating port 80. So this is our public IP, this is our private IP. In the router they will store in the PAT table, PAT NAT table translation they will store. They will say 10.10.10.1 port number 80, I translate that one into 63.63.63.1 is to port number 8000. So this traffic will go somewhere outside. If another PC is initializing the traffic, then it will come here. They will again record 10.10.10.2 port number 80. I am allowing this to go outside with the public IP 63.63.63.1 with the port number 8001, and they will store this one also. Same thing for third one also, and when traffic is coming back, they will check the public IP and the port number, and they will check the entry in the PAT table, and then they will forward that traffic depending upon that PC. That is nothing but PAT. So what we are saying, the port map are keep in the table. When the router receive the data packet from the internet, it will refer the table which keep in the port mapping and forward the packet to the original sender. Imagine you are going somewhere outside. Your friend asks you to take some items. You are bringing all the stuff for all your friends, and you are checking the list which guy asks you what to bring, and you are distributing to that guy. This is one example. What I am saying, one guy is going outside, okay, but he is carrying all the requests, and he is having one slip, one checklist. He will record who is requesting what, and when he bring back, he will give that item to that particular PC, like that we can say, for understanding purpose. Just remember, they will have NAT PAT table. In that one, they will have the entry, which private IP, which port they will assign, what public IP, what port, and they will return back same traffic. That is nothing but PAT, port address translation. Then we have the inside local address, inside global address, and we have another is outside global address, outside local address. So what is the inside global, outside global? Imagine this is one scenario. We have here our machine, okay, our machine is connected to one router, our router. So this machine is known as inside local because this is our inside network, so we can say inside local. And this is our router which is connected to the ISP router. This is internet service provider router, So this router is connecting to the internet service provider router. So what we can say, this side we can say inside global, because from here to here is inside only, but this one is inside local in our local area. This one is inside but not local, because here we have the public IP, here we will have public, here we will have public. So we will say inside global here. And if you see here, this is a outside is connecting to the internet. So this one is outside global. This is outside to us, but this is in local. Means if you have Google server, maybe in the Google side, this is local to Google, but this is connecting to the ISP, so we can say outside local. So this way we can define inside local, outside local. After that, we can do one lab. So with the lab, you will have more idea. So lab we will do in our next class, because we will not have that much time to finish the lab. So in our next class, we are going to cover the lab for the static NAT, dynamic NAT, and the PAT. So this is a theory about the NAT PAT and the static NAT. So what we can do in our next class, we will finish that one. After that, we can do the NTP also, then we can do our big lab.